2-0 for Dino. It appears that way. Is Jamie standing in again, or is there something I don't know about? You think they're a better team with Cloud? We scrimmed them multiple times. Having played both Dino and Dino was the stronger team from my perspective. Games could go either way depending on the week. Dino was 1-1'd you, we 2-0'd you. Yeah, that's the problem. Game 1 was a W, to be honest. Well, we'll hit this on content. We'll hit it on content.
Okay. Sophie.
How are you guys doing?
Oh, hey, Rhino's here.
I am. Fucking fire cast tonight, man. I get to talk to some of my favorite players, man.
You am?
Is that so?
Are you am greater than you was?
I am amped greater than I was. Alright, so I guess we get this kicked off. It is 9 p.m. I'm here on a beautiful Sunday night with some a miraculous panel. If I personally have to say so myself. To start us off, we have Core, probably the best Pause 5 in the league. No one's really, there's no argument. IPA, probably the best draft in the league after last week, in my opinion. And Tree, a top 3 carry in the league. So, I feel like our panel was amazing tonight. How are you fellas doing this evening?
Good.
Doing good.
Good, Rhino. Excited to talk about this league.
Awesome. All right, so you guys want to start on last week?
You tell us how you want to start, dude. You run it.
All right, let's go. Let's start off last week.
All right.
You want to start off with your series?
Oh yeah. I guess we can start off with I was go play off lane. Did anyone watch the series?
Yeah, because it was I think I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me look at it real quick. Yeah, that's it. This what you guys had PA, right?
Correct. Yeah, this was the PA the infamous role swap game.
Yeah.
So
What was the thought process going into that? I'm curious.
going into
Is
the
it?
game,
Yeah. Why'd you guys decide to roll swap? What was like?
I
You guys were
think
just fun to swap it up, or yeah.
I think Sub didn't I think his playstyle didn't truly match Bulby's, and I think Bulby's hero pool for the meta wasn't what we needed it to be. Like with the heroes we wanted to play and how we wanted to play them, it didn't match up with Balbino's carry pool. And Balbino from the jump he wanted to play 4, but Sub was already sort of in that supportive role. And then Sub, I think there was like this probably like a 2 to 3 minute argument like after we lost game 1, and they decided to switch roles, and we've been looking up ever since.
Gotcha.
So game 1, we gave them PA 18th pick into Jug. I feel like that was disasterful. It was like we gave them their heroes basically, like Dawnbreaker. We didn't really know that Chev played SK, but Dawnbreaker PA was crazy. Pony played a hell of a series this series as well, on the SG. It was just too much, honestly. I think it was just way too much. It was a really good draft by Jamie as well.
This was like the first series from your guys' team where I felt like Balbino was not top of net worth a lot of the game. Like all of your other games, I feel like one of his biggest strengths is like always finding a way to the top of the net worth, but he's not even like top of the net worth on your team most of this game. And I never really felt like he got where he needed to be from a farm standpoint in this particular game to really contest the PA.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I would agree with you fully. I think we lost our lanes as well. Like it was hard to come back from. Like we won bottom pretty hard with the Razor IO lane, and then all the other 2 lanes sort of deteriorated. Sun actually drew his lane, which was quite impressive, but the top lane just got demolished like pretty hard. Have you guys played Broken, or have you guys played Go Play Offlane yet?
Yeah, we played him the
Yeah.
week before.
Okay.
Actually, the day before you, we played
What What was your thoughts?
Well, I guess I don't want to spoil the rankings, but so our first game, I let the broken brewmaster through on purpose. I was like, yeah, they'll pick it, we'll counter it, and then we got like dumpstered in like 20 minutes. So then I banned that shit, and we won with like a pretty creative draft. Um,
Okay.
I feel like that off lane is beatable if that's what you're asking me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it is beatable. I think Broken, he has the potential to win his team the game. Like I think when you look at this team, you obviously look at Jamie. But I feel like Broken's right up there with the potential of Jamie to carry this team if need be. Um, and that's why I sort of have him on like top 3 offlaners in the conk division, just because of his potential as well. And then they just won game 1 in 36 minutes. We'll go to game 2. We sort of.
I do want to ask you a question about this game one, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So when I was watching this game, and I think the casters even commented on it, like you on this offlane razor had a great start, but it felt like you spent the entire game just like hitting creeps above the dire tier ones. Like
Yeah.
you, fast start is supposed to be making plays so your jug can farm, not like taking creeps.
For sure. Yeah, I think this game it felt like we were waiting for that final item, like that final item timing. Like every time we would try to fight, I'd be like, okay, I just need BKB, and then like we would like I think we won a fight with my BKB. I got Sonya and Yasha really quickly, and I didn't get another item for like super long, because we just couldn't win a fight. So I felt like if I could just split the map and give time for ball, like it was just make time for Jug, right? It's like without like feeding or throwing away your life. So that was sort of my hope, I guess. Looking at the replay, I did a pretty bad job of that. I think I should have owned this game, honestly, with IO. So I think that was my biggest mistake. But like the idea was to give Balbino as much space as possible and let him catch up to PA. Which in reality I think that was like a dumbass fucking take because it's this PA hero. But then in our heads, that's how it worked.
Mhm.
Yeah, I felt like you guys were really strong early on. You guys had like after like the laning phase, you guys like kind of balled up and were like owning fights. And then there was even a point where you guys were at the tier 3, at the bottom tier 3, and you guys were could have knocked on the high ground, but instead you backed off. But like I felt like you kind of had pretty good tools. You had good sustain with the IO jug and the razor for zoning. So I felt like you could have maybe knocked on the door before you got to the PA timings.
Yeah, I think this game, I think we were a little bit scared, a little bit too scared, I think, of the SK and like going high ground.
And and swap, yeah.
Yeah, and swap as well. So it was just a scary game as well as like our team. We're not the most efficient high grounders because we like to dive. So it was just scary. It was scary to make that call. So yeah, that was definitely the biggest issues in this game. All right. Any other questions, or should we go game two?
Thank you.
All right, for sure, for sure. All right, game two. It was basically, honestly, we were all tilted. Like we were all super tilted. We did not want to lose. To go play off lane. It's all in the way we lost. It felt like sort of stompy, honestly. So we wanted to bring it back. We knew we wanted the PA hero from the starts. I think sub like once we got to the 13th pick, sub was just like lock the PA hero. They didn't ban it. They banned Ursa instead and Faceless because I think they thought Bolby was carrying. So we got the PA for free, and then they picked Spin into it. And I felt like I could get the Timber and make it a pretty hard lane for Jamie. And a pretty hard game in general for Jamie as well as Broken. Just two strength heroes. So we just waited for PA to get 3 items, and then the game was sort of over.
Yeah, this game looked a lot better from your guys' standpoint. I think the PA really shined here as well, though. I mean, it's just late game. You guys are picking it. That's good.
Yeah, I think Sky and Puck was really cool too. I think yeah. Shout out Riley. Riley, we scrim SS a lot, and they love this Sky hero. And we either ban it or like we were trying to find ways around it. But we picked it this game, and it felt really good to flex into mid for the Chev Puck. And maybe this is like what teams start doing in response to go play offlane because Skyrap's like such a counter to most of Chev's hero pool, like the spirits and like the Puck hero. So we just opened with Sky, and it felt good. It honestly felt pretty good. And yeah, that was basically it about this game.
I'm gonna call cap on that. Like that Sky was not good.
You
Like
didn't think it was
maybe
good?
felt good to you, bro. He was a support that
Yeah,
game.
he was
His net
eating
worth
the
was
beach.
like
Yeah, look at that real
5K.
quick for us. Yeah,
Like
your
I'm gonna be honest with you,
Bobito
if
had
it
more
wasn't,
net.
yeah, if it wasn't for Balbina's echoes, I don't know that you win this game.
Really?
But yeah, Bobito kind of.
Bobino had a hell of a game, but I think I don't know. I think it felt good. That's just me. In the game, I felt it felt good, but maybe like from
Fair
the
enough.
spectators, yeah, like from the game, like I was like, okay, this answers something they want to do. So like it feels good to me, and like this is how we are answering like the Puck. But from a spectator's point of view, I feel like that's interesting. That you guys thought it was just trash. Honestly, that makes me interested. Honestly, so
I
you
don't
thought it
think
was
it
just a
was
support.
trash. I just think like as a pause too, there was like in the mid game at like 20 minutes or something. I remember looking at net worth chart, and he had like 1,000 more gold than the supports. And I will say this much: you definitely tricked people because in the can draft, everyone thought it was an Earthshaker mid. So I think from a draft perspective, I would guess most teams aren't expecting it to be Sky mid. So it is nice for that switch up.
Yeah, yeah. That's a damn. Okay. Oh yeah, I got to talk to IPA more, I guess. Okay. Yeah. That was basically our thinking, but I have to think about some other shit now that you have those takes. So yeah, that was basically this game. Balbino went crazy on Earthshaker, like looked great as a pause 4, went 5-5 and 29. And it felt good. It felt really pretty good for just the swap. He's also a lot more vocal than Sub and comms, so that helps a lot as well. Are you guys ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Go.
All right. Who do we want to hit next? Who wants to volunteer? I think
Let's just go down the line. Let's go rejects some sorrow real quick.
Want to reject some sorrow?
Yeah, let's go.
I hated this game. I don't have much to say here, so I may need someone else to talk.
I got you for this one. If you're gonna pull up the Dota buffs, I actually watched these games because I knew between our panel like no one was on either of these teams to talk about these games, so I thought it'd be good to try to understand a little bit what happened. I think the draft is something I want to get your guys' take on for both of these games, because I think there was a critical mistake that C0re made both games. But like, let's just start there. Like, tell me what you guys think of the drafts in game 1, and then we'll talk about game 2 as well. Hello?
Oh, I was just looking. I honestly think.
Sorry.
I honestly think. I don't hate C0re's draft. I don't like that they picked Spectre 17.
Yeah, Spec's a little sus, but otherwise it's like kind of okay.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Yeah. I mean, personally, I actually dislike the rejects draft more. If we just take these carries out, like Bristleback, Techies, Witch Doctor, Ember, as opposed to Beast, Zeus, AA, Phoenix. I think I'm taking the Zeus, AA, Phoenix, Beast over the Bristleback, Techies, Witch Doctor, Ember. If we just take this Profanity PL out.
Yeah, I think the Techies is the Odin special though. He's been spamming that a lot, and he's just an enjoyer for it. So I think that's more of a comfort thing, right?
Yeah.
And Bristol, I mean, how do you lose lane on Bristol? Let's be honest.
So yeah, it could be the Darth Walker hero, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those were my things. IPA. What was the point here?
What do you think, Core? Whose team would you rather have?
Personally, probably Radiant. I just think there's a lack of like lockdown. There's just kind of too much magic damage, which sounds weird, but like, and I guess AA helps it, so it's kind of fine in that respect. But I think like these Pipe and Mage Slayer over here on Radiant, there's just, and all these Glimmers are like super good pickups. Like, I just don't know how you die on the rejects.
Nice. So my issue is I don't know that this Zeus is a good enough answer to PL when you see it on 18, because you should know that Profanity is going to pick PL coming into the match, right? You chose not to ban it, so you should expect to play against it. But if you look at their lineup, like you have to hit AA Blast on this PL to kill him probably once he has heart. And like that's kind of a lot to ask about AA if your Beastmaster doesn't know the real PL and roar it to set up for the AA Blast, which I feel like is too much to ask. So that was kind of like my biggest issue with the C0re draft here. And I will say, I think the Beastmaster probably should have done a little bit better at shutting down the PL on lane.
That's what I was gonna say too.
And I don't know that they realized the Scepter got like Omega nerf against illusions. Like that would have otherwise countered PL, but it doesn't after the most recent patch.
At least not as good as it used to be.
What would have been your answer to PL on 18 Profanity PL?
I don't know. It's a good question. I didn't really think about that because they banned the Lesh Quap, which are like great responses, right? Probably something with an AoE stun.
Yeah, I think AoE CC is what you want. Like, because you're never getting this AA Blast without like.
I think this draft was over when they picked Spectre. They're just so much single target damage. I don't think you can make the draft up in one pick on the 24th against PL. Like I don't know what hero besides Leshrac and maybe Quap do what this hero needs to do. Right? It's like that's like viable.
So one play that was like huge in this, because I actually, I think C0re, especially in Conqueror chat, has gotten some hate for the quality of their team or their chances to win this season, and I think it's gone a little bit overboard. Sub, and
sorry about that.
I think one of the plays that really helped the rejects get ahead in this game is Hexy got a solo kill on the Zeus mid, around like level 6. And then Fourth World Marshal actually rotated to mid as soon as Zeus TP'd him and killed him immediately. So like Hexy had like a 2 or 3 level advantage on the Zeus and was like able to playmate a lot earlier in the game. So like Darth Walker had like completely free game. I think he was like 2k net worth ahead of any other hero at like 15 minutes. And that just made like space for Profanity to farm. And then once he hits his hard timing, like I just like I said, I don't think they had an answer for it.
Yeah, that's what it seems. Yeah, I mean, is Game 2 just a remake of Game 1?
Well, let's look at the draft of game 2 and let me know if you think they made a similar mistake.
So much single target damage. They just draft only single target damage. What's going on?
14 picked Slark.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That is
This is their captain. This is Malibu, right? He's their drafter?
Yeah.
Bloodseeker's still in the pool as well, by the way. Even if like
Lesh was in the pool right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so their response was 18 pick Tiny, who was a second phase BL.
I think it's just an experience thing from drafting more than anything. Like you have to recognize these things, and maybe you just don't at the game time. But I mean, yeah, as you said, like you know that Profanity's gonna want this PO, might as well draft around it and begin thinking about it. But yeah.
But it was a similar story. Like if you look at the net worth chart, like the rejects get a lead, and they kind of maintain that net worth lead, and then PL hits a timing, and they actually just walk up high ground. And all of Team Samsara is alive. Like it's 5-person high ground defense, and they just watch the rejects take bottom lane and then mid lane, and then eventually Profanity is full HP, just diving illusions into the fountain, and the game ends.
Yeah. I don't know. I disagree with your take on they're getting way too much hate. I think they're not getting enough hate. Like this team's bad, bro. This is bad, bro. Like this is simple this is simple Dota. I don't think this is complicated at all. And it's like I don't know. If the play you just told me is true, where they're just they just sat there and watched 2 of their racks die for no apparent reason, I think I don't know.
This draft, what are they gonna do? Shoot power shot at 10 illusions?
No, true. I mean, true. that's why they're bad, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go next.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hit this. I want to hit this 7 Dark 30 game. I think that's what everyone's here for. That's why I'm here. So that's what I want to talk about next. 7 Dark 30 versus Savage Spirits.
Yeah, if you don't mind, if we could just get only Chorus thoughts and all of his plans to counter this team this week, I would appreciate that.
That's game of the week for sure.
I think in general, Savage has not been playing super well. I'm sure that's known. I think I even told IPA before this game happened, the series happened, that like the Savage Spirits aren't like super hot these past few weeks, and I think that like the way to beat them is I think you kind of target Bonky, and I think that's sort of what happened here. So I think this Brewmaster is really good on 24. I think this Muerta's kind of hard to play here, just with the Pango and Brew.
You have to go early BKB or you just get lifted during your ult. And what do you do for the first like 23 minutes of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this was, and I mean I was casting this, and this was masterful by IPA. I think Core's 100% right. At least when we scrim Savage Spirits, it's mostly banning PA and then just banning Bonky and Riley heroes. Like that as basically it. I feel like and that's no flame to anyone else on the Savage Spirits team. Lapsed, he's gonna play, the tree, he's gonna play the Venge, he's gonna play the Warlock. Not much you can do about that. we just give him it to be real. I think we banned Warlock, but we give him the rest. And then Benny. I feel like Benny. He's always been my question mark for this team. Like, how good can Benny be? And then that's how good Savage Spears will be, in my opinion. Like, if Benny's not a great carry, this team's not gonna be that great in my head. And with the addition of Bonky, I think Bonky he's a momentum offlaner. Like, he's not gonna. I think like the tides, the aura bots. I don't think that's really his flow of how he likes to play the game. So I was surprised with the Kunkka 23rd pick. I know he's been playing it in his pubs and it's looked all right. Were you guys shocked with it, IPA?
No, I called that after banning all the rest of his heroes. I said I think he's probably gonna play Kunkka offlane. Just kind of looking at his pool and what he was gonna play. But I did say out loud, I was like, I don't know how you pick Kunkka offlane once we've already showed the Undying. Like Kunkka Tusk is not really a lane
Yeah.
unless you have like a super squishy 5 that you can feed off of with shards and torrent maybe. Um, so it did not feel good, and the 0-8-21 stat line I think kind of like showcased that it wasn't good. But he did kill me with blade mail a couple times because I'm Pepega, so I guess that worked.
Are you the new mid for this Zero Dark 30 squad?
Oh, come on, Rhino. We've been around long enough. You know the answer to that question.
I'm just curious. Because, like, we scrim these guys, IPA's the support. I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on? I feel like I'm scrim again. IPA is going to be the off lane. And then I tune into Thursday after telling everyone, IPA is going to be a support. IPA is going to go to 5, maybe. And I see you just pick Pango in the mid lane. I'm like, what the fuck? Against Gav, print is crazy for a debut. And then you drop 16 and 4 on his head and beat them 2-0. So I'm just curious. Are you the new mid laner?
I am whatever position my team needs me to be when we draft, and like that's how we played for a long time now. The only season was different was our very first season in AD2L. I was pretty much a dedicated mid actually for that first season. Um, and then I just started moving around. We have like Jix is notoriously inflexible, both from like a hero pool standpoint, but from a like lane standpoint, he can play core in all 3 lanes. Cloud is an incredibly flexible player. Um, all right, I do have a trivia question for you first, Rhino. Who is Fatality in this league? Because at the end of your stream, you started talking about this Fatality person who is not
Dude,
C tier, but then
is
you get to
Fatality
see he was on.
Kakashi? Is Fatality Kakashi?
You tell me. You talked about this
It's
guy. You didn't
100%
want to see he was
Kakashi.
on.
It's 2000% Kakashi. Right?
Dude,
I'm right, right?
Yes, it is. So he's our position 4, maybe position 5, maybe position 3, right? And so like Fatal is a flexible player that allows me and him to swap between support and core if the draft dictates it, or um, we just want to do something a little different. And so might I play mid lane? Yeah, but I would not say the only dedicated position is Shubidu or Hi, how are you? Who is always support, but he could be 4 or 5 because our supports are able to rotate around.
That's amazing. I have so some people have messaged me and they want me to ask you one question. They heard you were coming on content. They want me to ask you one question, IPA. Do you think Zero Dog 30 is the best team in Conquer?
No, I don't know what team that is. What team is that? 0 Dark 30?
Zero 7 Dark 30. I apologize. 7 Dark 30. Do you think 7 Dark 30 is the best team in Conquer?
I'm just kidding. It is like a reference to the movie, so you're all good.
Oh, okay.
I don't. I mean, I did my rankings, so when we get the weekly rankings, you'll see who I have as the number 1 team.
Okay. All right. So that was game 1. We'll go on to game 2. And just to talk about this a little bit more. In game 2, we were honestly thinking Savage Spears was about to slap you guys. I was talking to Bonky. Bonky was gonna go crazy. Like there was some things planned. After this, Bonky feels like his game was thrown. Which I feel like he had a pretty good lane, and I semi do feel like that. He was playing the wrong hero as well. But were you guys? I guess not scared is not the right word. Did you guys assume that they would come back out with a little more fight in them than game 1?
I assumed they would come out with comfort. Is what I figured.
Okay.
And I think that they did, for the record. I think the Scrim, Sky, Tide, Sven, like those 4 heroes, I feel like are a staple of what they want to draft. And I think conceptually it's really strong, right? Like you have a team fight frontliner. Sven is maybe the meta number one carry right now. And like Grim Sky has synergy just among the supports. I think they're a little squishy as a backline duo, but when you have your other two cores who can frontline and jump and then guide to counter initiate, like I think it can work, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, this was the game where Kakashi, also known as Fatality, went crazy. I feel like Jinx, this is his hero. So like I assumed I would get like a 15, 16, 17 kill performance from him. We'll get to the IPA bounty in a minute, but this 2-in-1 Bat Rider support really impressed me. I don't think there's many players in the league who can put up these numbers on Bat Rider support. So and his laning presence was great. His positioning was good. So shout out, supports do not get enough love. So shout out for that. IPA, what was this bounty pick? What do you see in this hero?
I played it in Battle Cup and against a Sven, and it felt really good. So I just did it again.
Do you think
Actually, we were sitting here on this last pick, and I'll give Jamie a lot of credit for game one. He was originally going to play the Pango mid. It was actually the plan, and then I think with like 15 seconds left in the final 24 pick, he was like, "Or you can just pick me Brew," and I was like, "Sold. Play that hero. This shit is good." But in this draft, he had run Lifestealer against Samsara in a scrim that I was watching one time, and I heard him on his stream talking about getting Ag's Lifestealer to basically eliminate Sven's BKB, right? It just completely nullifies when that hero has BKB, and then you just kill him after that. So I asked him, I was like, "Yo, you trying to play this lifesteal? Like, it's pretty good lane into Tide. I think it's pretty free. You can rage the Ravage every time if you see him." Um, and so like he was down for that. And then the last pick, I didn't really know what to get, and I was like, well, I mean, I guess I played this Battle Cup, so like let's try this bounty again because it feels pretty good into Sven.
Yeah, I mean it
But
did great.
I have a trivia question for you guys.
Mm.
How much armor, base armor, do you think Bounty Hunter has at level 6?
At level 6?
Level
Yep.
I'm gonna guess
6.
like 13, maybe actually
It's
8.
like 12, right?
Guessing 11. We're going with 11.
All right. Well, obviously you guys know the hero because like that's an insane amount of base armor at level 6.
Well,
Like
which one is it?
I don't know. I'm getting in demo mode. I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
But but what you don't realize is like when this hero gets Vanguard, like
Yeah,
a
he's
hero like
unkillable.
Sven that only does physical damage, like tickles you, does not do anything to you.
No, I agree. I had a phase a long time ago when I just picked Bounty Hunter offlane, and I would just own like these PAs, Svens, whatever the hell, any melee carry that's just physical. You just destroy all of them. You just steal their money and make them cry and walk away when you have Vanguard. So I think this pick was hype.
Yeah, it's 11 armor with a magic wand, 10 without. I don't remember who won trivia, but you guys are all in the right range.
Insane. All right. Well, actually, I'll wait to ask that question until we get to the end. Let's go to the next match, which was.
Wait, let's ask Core a question. Core, you gonna let this Leshrac hero through? It's garbage in this meta.
I know, terrible. Like, I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I haven't done prep yet, so I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll let it through. You want to still do that deal with me and Jigs?
No.
Okay.
All right. So we have Dynamite versus Helmets On. This was the core series. Do you have any questions or things you want us to look at or talk about the series, Core?
Um. Well, okay. I remember hearing on when you were I watched your like content watch thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember you hearing that they had Warlock, Willow, and then you're like, "Oh, GG, it's over. That team wins."
Yeah, that was me. That was me.
Yeah. Why did you say that? That was very foolish.
I mean, it was 30-30. I was close. I mean, like, you're going to tell me how close this game was, but how close was this game, actually?
So we kind of like tried to run into them a little too early. We kind of had some bad rotations early, and just heroes where they shouldn't have been. And once they got like some nice event timings like this BKB, and they were kind of had the map at the point, and we couldn't really fight them. We kind of had to split a lot. But then once they ran up high ground with Aegis, Cryptic got a really good hook on the Sven under the tier 4, and they just all died after that. So, and then from then on, it was we were into the late game, which I think our draft favors against theirs, like Troll into Sven and Elsie.
Yeah. Will we
After that,
see?
after that, we kind of just won the fights, I think.
Will we see Pudge this week?
I don't know. You gotta ask IPA that. All I'll say is, in the last two series, we have first picked Pudge in the first game, and then the second game, notice what the first phase bans were. That's all I'll say.
Wow. IPA, will you ban it?
Tune in Thursday to find out. I expect this game to be cast since somebody is playing. Isn't Jamie and Chev playing earlier in the week? Helmet's on.
Ooh, I've no clue actually. That's a
They're
good
playing
question.
Tuesday, right?
Let me
I think
check.
so.
Did
yeah.
they reschedule?
Yeah, I think there's a Tuesday game. Let me check what it is.
Yeah, Tuesday at 9 p.m.
Yep.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. All right. So this game definitely is casted. Dynamite 7:30. All right. I will say that this was my big thing for this game. C0re, that man's a monster. Balaka, he like coming from a dazzle lane, like the recovery and the mental strength you have to continue playing. Like it's crazy. And then the arcane boots, maelstrom, diffusal blade, blink. Like that was like the timings that shit came out from his lane
Yeah.
were impressive for me at least, and just the way he played. So shout out Blocka, C0re. I think these sort of teams that are newer to CONQ and like these visions don't like the players don't get enough praise. So C0re, that dude's a monster. Blocka for sure. And then I mean Core with the 26-minute ags on Abaddon. Definitely made this game hard as well. Can I? What did you think when Dr. Chainstein dueled your troll in the roast pit?
I thought it was hilarious.
Bro,
Yeah.
I remember watching that. I was just like, I gotta know what these comms are. Like, I gotta know what the Dynamite comms are right now.
Dude, it was just silence. Just bunch of gamers sweating.
All right, so let's go game two. Game two. Actually, pretty. I don't want to say low kills, but I guess like these games were. Did you feel like these games were competitive? Like they were pretty close.
Yeah, I would say the first one was much closer. I think halfway through the first game, we kind of realized how Amazon likes to play, and so I think this game too, we definitely had a better plan fighting against them, and I think it worked really well the way we drafted and the way we played. Um, I think really like I think this game on paper looks 32 to 24, but if you actually watch the game, like none of the fights were really that even that close. So.
Why AM?
Well, we were thinking about AM before the Muerta. Um, but then when the Muerta showed, I think it was even just better. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I
I mean,
think
they don't really ever catch this AM.
yeah, that's true too as well with the Underlord. Um, anyone else have any other questions about this series?
Yeah. Why'd you feed on this tusk?
This was you're gonna maybe laugh or not believe me, but this was just strategical feeding. So it's not feeding. You see O and 8, but there was
Oh,
purpose behind it. So
took a page out of Pansy's book for this game.
yeah.
I
So.
like your build too. The pipe, Vlad's no blink.
Yeah, well, when you're feeding that much, you can't really afford a blink, and my job wasn't really to blink on people, so.
I respect it. Yeah, I respect it a lot. All right, so, was
So
that?
they had to give you Block a Earthshaker to ban the Pudge, right? That was the trade-off they did in the
Yeah,
draft.
if you notice in that they banned it first phase in the first game, but they let the Earthshaker through.
What do you guys think about Invoker as a response to Earthshaker mid?
I don't know. I think there's harder punishments, right? It's
Yeah,
like
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
I feel like Invoker is not that hero you pick to punish a lane you already see. Invoker's that hero to pick the like you don't give a fuck about your lane. Like fuck it, I'm just Invoker. Like I don't know if it's the punish, but maybe it's the comfort as well for Black Up. Maybe he likes the matchup, but I feel like if it was just to punish the Earthshaker, there's better picks. I don't know what those are, but those are they're
Alright.
better picks.
I also want to give huge props to O. No one's really talked about him, but this guy is really, really good, and so I think you guys should watch out for him. Like, I think his build on Razor and the way he played this game, and even in the other series, like, insane.
Did they
He's
ban
so good.
Slardar?
They did ban Slardar, yes.
Yeah, he's done some crazy things on Slardar this season, right?
Well, only one game. The rest of the games, people have banned it against us. I don't know why. So, what can you do?
Okay, so one game he went absolutely nuts, and you don't know why people are banning it.
Well, we lost that game. That was our one. That was our one game we lost. So, to be fair,
Oh, it's cursed. Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
So you should let it through.
Yep.
All right.
Slardar, most contested hero in our series, maybe.
True. Yep. The Jukes Slardar one. We're scared of it.
Did anyone get to watch this Bubble Team series?
You did, right?
I did.
Well,
Yes, I did. I did.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I played in it, so yeah, just a little.
Oh, and yeah, Tree obviously played it. Okay, okay. Wait, did it not get ticketed?
Looks like it did not get ticketed, huh? What? Wild. Okay. Oh no, Gambit wasn't playing that week. You're looking at Gambit's profile. Look at anyone else. We had a stand-in for Gambit this week.
It was Jukes doing this too.
Oh,
Yeah, we had Juke stand-in, and then we also had we're missing their 5 players, so we found them a replacement last minute, sadly.
unlucky.
Holy shit. Right, now just click literally anyone else on Bubble Team.
Oh, yeah, I could have done that as well. All right. So first game, obviously Bubble Team wins. Tree pops off 13-2 with the Terror Blade. I like this draft a lot. I think my big things were like watching 7R30 and then Bubble Team. I think Talus and IPA, the way they sort of deal out their drafts, as well as like I feel like conceptualize Dota is pretty close, pretty similar. Like the things they value in their draft, I feel like are pretty similar. And I feel like Bubble Team just sort of outdrafted Grin Fury, which I don't even know if that's a thing because Grin Fury has like these niche picks that they like and enjoy. But that's how it felt from my point of view. How did you guys feel about this game?
Yeah, I think huge props to Talus for picking up the drafting because usually Gambit does it, and of course he wasn't here. But Talus is also like intimately familiar with this team and all the players on it, so I think him knowing like what they tend to play and how they tend to play really helped out with the draft a lot. Like the first phase bands, like lone visage, like it was just like you have to know that against like Island. And
Yeah.
shit. So yeah.
Do you think Juke's experience added to the sort of ease of transition from losing your captain?
I think huge props to Jukes as well because he was one of the PMAS players there. I think he kind of was a little beacon of happiness both of these games, even though like he might have been dying or whatever. But it was a great stand-in. Highly recommend to anyone who needs a 5. That guy's Jukes slaps. Sure, everyone knows him. So yeah.
Awesome. IPA core. You guys have anything about this game?
Yeah, so Tree, you banned the Rubik on 12, which is like it's a good ban against Jakiro, right? Because you don't want him stealing Ice Path. But also their position for G Ginny Genie. I don't know. That dude's like a Rubik spammer, right? Was that part of the philosophy, or was it just to protect Jakiro?
It was. I think we noticed that he was a Rick player, but really, I believe the thought process was we have a Jakiro. We don't want to be getting ice passed every 3 seconds at like 20 minutes. It was more of a protect pick or protect ban. I personally did not know that he was. Maybe Talus factored it in, but Talus was owning with the draft. So
I'm a little surprised that Island picked OD here. I feel like he has more of his like cheese in the pool that he could have picked. Was OD a response to Bat?
Yeah, I think we. Let me see. Yeah, OD was an interesting choice because I think they wanted something to deal with the bat tide, just a save of some kind as well, maybe from arrow. I don't know. I think there's definitely more cheese in the pool though. We did ban his lone and Visage, but he also plays. Island always has these like interesting heroes where he plays them usually micro-ish. Like so he like I remember playing him like a couple seasons ago, and he would go like Invoker, Helm with a Dominator type of stuff. So Alan's always a very interesting player to play against because he has all these weird builds. So I don't know. Really.
I'm surprised. Why did you guys put Frost in Fat Boy jail?
In Fatboy Jail, is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think we were just kind of like we want somebody to be frontlining, and I think Frost, especially with the way that Arden plays and our mid laner Milkboxy, uh, we kind of thought that hey, we just need somebody to be in front for him because he can't be the first one to go in. So that was kind of the thought process that we just want a frontliner essentially. And the TB was actually a funky last pick because I have like 10 TB games in my life, and Arden was like, "Hey, it's a great TB game." I was like, "Why not? Sure, hit it." So it all worked out in the end. I think we just needed a frontliner for the rest of our team, kind of. So and we're kind of still getting the mojo of the team. So maybe that's the next move. Frost just gets all the tanky boys.
What do you think, Core?
Yeah, I mean, I like this. I mean, obviously you pick Slark into it, but I mean, like, I feel like Tide winning this Slark lane is kind of a problem, especially Tide Treant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I have the same thoughts. And I think. Whoa, did you guys win this game 17-32? Or okay, never mind. Um, did you guys think they were gonna ban the Talus Mirana?
We were expecting it. Surprised they didn't.
That
It's
was
Talis Morgana, right?
yeah. That was gonna be my fun fact for game 2 because we played it again.
Yeah, no, he loves his Mirana, and I think it's one of those like you just kind of have to respect Bandit because he owns on a hero. He's level 30, just knows how to play it. Like it's one of his heroes, right?
I think this meta is almost guarantees it gets it every game though, because there are
Yeah,
like so many OP supports.
for sure. Like you have to ban the trees, the warlocks, the other shit. Like it kind of always comes through in the draft, and Talus is willing to play it into really anything, so it works out really well.
All right, Rhino Tree. Somebody who was in or watched this game has got to talk because this game was crazy. This
Yeah.
game too.
Oh,
Yeah.
this game.
The
Because you were watching from a third perspective, I think, or from Talus's perspective or something.
Yeah, my biggest things were the milk boxy. Like he was like 0-4. Like he died like 4 times back to island solo. Uh, wait, yeah, it's 3 times. Yeah, it was 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. Oh no, 4, 5. Actually, all of his deaths were in the
He was
span
0
of.
5 for the first 11 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. It was rough. And then my other thing was what was my other thing for the series? Actually, I think that was it. I know, no, your perfect scoreline. That's what it was. How did you feel your team made space for you while you guys basically had no mid? I think you guys lost your tower at like maybe like 9 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that. Island was massive. He was top of the net worth. When you saw his build, what did you think?
First of all, I think that they just went full commit for the push because they have hammer on arc and tide. So I literally saw that and I just called, "Hey guys, like don't tilt. We're gonna lose all our towers at 20 minutes. Like just hold out, all right." But then I saw the solar crest and I got a little happy. Then I saw the boots of bearing and I got a little more happy. Um, but yeah, it was just kind of like I think it was an interesting build. I think they did the early push strat really well, but I think they just messed up in some of the mid game to like late game territory. And that's what cost them the game, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think going high ground, they just threw like it was rough to watch. They didn't have I just don't think they had what it took to fight you guys once PA got a couple items, and then Island died like twice by himself. Oh, yeah, I think it was here. Yeah, he died twice by himself in the top lane. I feel like that was when the game was sort of over as well. Um, yeah, I mean this game was basically just a fucking crazy stomp after like 15 minutes for you, or maybe after like 25, yeah, 25, 20, 25, 27. Did you feel like you won this game at like 15 minutes, even though you're behind?
I think I kind of had to keep the mental on my team. I think it was a case of everyone was kind of getting a little concerned, like all our towers are dying. We were looking at it, and it's like, what do you do? Like, you just kind of have to like wait for PA to get an item or two. And once we got items, I think I was like, because I think I got to like a 14-minute battlefield, even though we lost tower, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I felt like this game was full the entire time. It was
What
just
do you,
they full committed for the early, not for the late.
what do you guys think of about this arc warden hero?
Cringe, like the rest of Island and Milkbox's hero pulls.
Yeah, I think this hero is. I think the hero is bad, simply bad. I think the hero, like, it seems like whenever I play Arc Warden, it feels like I'm working 40 times harder than the enemy just to do simple things, like walk around the map and shit. Like, fuck that.
What do you guys think of Island's build this game as a mid arc warden? Like he's just trying to buff up this Muerta.
I think so. I think the Boots of Bearing are literally just playing for the Muerta ulti.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Or
think it's
like just disengage from like Centaur or something, right?
yeah, yeah. I think this is Giga based.
Super based. Yeah, that's what I would say. Extremely based. I think the Tinker 17th pick was sort of surprising to me as well. Like Milkboxy not seeing his like the hero he's going against, and then just picking Tinker. I
Yeah. I think it was a moment of we weren't sure what to draft. And I think Arden literally Milkboxy literally just said, just give me the Tinker. And yeah, it worked out though. Because we last picked Centaur, which was very good against Marta, of course.
yeah.
You were about to last pick Bounty Hunter to go with the Tinker, and then you switched to Centaur, which I think was really huge, like you said.
Yeah, no, I remember I think my offlaner wanted either Wraith King or Centaur, and I was like, we're not picking Wraith King, just pick Centaur. Like, if you just need a Blade Mail builder, you walk into some and he dies every time. Like, what
I
does he
remember
do?
the Wraith King hover from Talus. I was like, "There's no fucking way, man." That would have been insane.
Like, don't do it, man. Just pick the Centaur, and everyone agreed, and my Frost was on board with it as well, so it worked out very well.
I do think you guys got to give the supports a lot of credit in this game for helping Milkboxy recover. I remember Talos was like stacking Ancients so that Milkboxy could kill them with smoke and laser. And it's like, for how gimped he was, I think he was like 5 levels. Like Island was level 11 when he was level 6 or something. It was crazy how bad he got destroyed. But I think they got him back online. If you look at his hero damage, like he almost had the same hero damage as you. Because I think he was able to have a game thanks to like the team around him.
I was gonna say, I think the biggest thing was like my supports going, hey, we just need a stack for him, and they did a wonderful job of keeping him in the game.
Yeah, I would agree. Nice 2-0 from Bubble Team. I think that will round us up for.
Brandon did have a stand-in for this series, for what it's worth.
Who was that stand-in, by the way? Was it their offlaner?
No, it's their position 5.
Yeah, they both had 5 stand-ins because Juke stood in as well.
Oh, got you. Okay. So that was the recap. I think we're on to week 4 predictions.
I believe so.
Yeah,
All right.
that or rankings, whatever you want to do.
I guess we can.
Here's the real question for you: is C0re your push to talkie? What is going on?
Yeah, I know. I'm so curious.
C0re is my push to talk key.
What C0re? What keyboard do you use?
No, I use a MMO mouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I use an MMO mouse. So every time I talk, it's just gonna spam zeros if I'm not clicked on something already. Yeah, just because my mic, I don't have a headset actually, so like, My team hates just repeating comms and like rehearing like Dota sounds and shit. Anyways,
Gotcha.
rejects versus I am I was first matchup of the week. Um, predictions: we have Frost 02, Chev 02, Core 1-1, IPA 02, Odin 2-0, and then me obviously 02. So Core, do you want to start us off? Why are you feeling the 1-1?
I think I think you guys are just equally matched, honestly. I don't really have particular reason. Like, I could see it going either way, honestly. Like I could see them 2-0ing you guys or you guys 0-2ing. I think it's like a volatile series, I think. It's kind of like who's better on which day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that for sure. Um, I guess we'll go with the other side, IPA. What about what's your opinion on the O2? Why do you think it's gonna go to I am my West favorite?
So your team is definitely one of the most interesting teams to me. Um, partially because I've seen you in sub play before, and I've seen a lot of people talk about Sun as one of the most valued mid laners in the game. Balbino was kind of new, and I didn't really know that is it Dr. CJ.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and the first couple scrims or games that you guys played, I was like, yo, this Sun dude is way overhyped. Like, this guy is not good. Like, this is like maybe one of the worst three mids in CONQ this season. And then I realized he was playing on a box of crackers and a trackpad, and I was like, "Oh shit, okay. Like maybe we need to reevaluate this." And I honestly think, like having him play at full strength has been the difference for you guys. Um, I think it's really catapulted you into a top four discussion.
Yeah, I would say that and the position swap. I think the position swap was pretty big as well. Um, so I guess I mean we mostly agreed on this series. Bubble Team versus Savage Spirits. I personally am going to start this off. Uh, I have Savage Spirits coming back after I wouldn't say even a failure of a week, right? We can't really say uh, they failed or they flopped for a week. Zero Dog 30 is the best team in the league right now, right? So I think they're gonna come back, drop Bubble Team off in two quick games. Bubble Team does have a stand-in for this series, right, Tree?
Yep. We're gonna have a stand-in most. I think Gambit's still out of town, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it will be two close games though. I think these teams are evenly matched. It shouldn't be a stomp on either side. But I think Savage Spirits, given their backs are against the wall, in my opinion, right now, Gav's gonna come up with some feisty drafts. And they're gonna get things popping on that end. I guess we'll go with Tree, and then actually we'll leave Tree. We'll go with IPA, and then Tree, you can come in with your thoughts after. And Core, you actually have a whole different 2-0 on your side, so we'll hear your takes with Tree. IPA, why 1-1?
Um, honestly, I thought Gambit was going to be back, and I kind of figured Gambit would throw at least one of the drafts. So mm, I still think it's a 1-1 though. Here's what I'll say: is I do think these teams are incredibly evenly matched. I think Bubble Team is the best team that people don't think are good in the league right now. Um, because I don't think you guys have gotten results that would indicate that you're a top team. But like, I think your team is very scary when you guys are clicking on all cylinders. But I believe in Savage Spirits like overall quality personally.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Mhm. Go
go
ahead,
ahead,
sorry.
Tree.
I was just gonna say I think I agree with you wholeheartedly in the that Savage Spirits is a. I think they're gonna, as Rhino also said, I think they're gonna pick their stuff up and get it going. I think that they're gonna bounce back. Honestly, and I also have a couple of friends there too, so I'm just like, I think it'll be a close match. I think both games are gonna be kind of close, and I think that it's gonna be quite an interesting series. So yeah, I think it's gonna be 1-1. We'll see.
I think the thing to watch in this series is the Frost versus Benny. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think in both of our games we did not allow Benny to get out of the lane ahead. And I think Benny plays best when he has space and he's already ahead, and he can kind of snowball on his farm from that point. And I think Frost is the kind of player in the off lane that can completely shut down a position one. And I think if you guys can do that, I think that's going to be the difference maker as to whether or not you can 2-0 the series.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think I've seen Benny play, and I think that he's a if he gets out of lane at least even or somewhat ahead, like he can snowball pretty well with it. But I think the if Frost can somehow get a lead and force Benny to go into recovery mode, I think that as long as my milk box goes even mid, I think that we can just kind of take over the map a bit.
What do you
And
think, Mark?
yeah, core.
I think this game is I think this series is like completely on Benny and Chev, or not Chev, Gav, sorry. Uh, they need to step up. I think Gav needs to work out some draft issues, and then based on previous results, I think this is going to be 2-0 for Bubble. I think Bubble is has progressed well in the past week or two. I think they're playing better as a team.
Yeah, no, I mean I agree with that part. I think we're getting our mojo a little bit,
You
even
get a
though we
good.
started off the season rough.
Is Juke
But
going
yeah.
to stand in for you again?
If Juke does, I would love it. But as Gambit has always said, any and all questions are to be directed to my captain about standings. So I'm unsure actually. Yeah.
All right, I am back. What series are we on?
We just
Uh,
finished Bubble Team Savage, so you can roll right into the go play off lane.
Okay, awesome. All right, go play off lane.
And
Helmets on.
best team in the league, helmets on.
We all have them getting 2-0 minus core. So core, please enlighten us why you think helmets on aren't going to get 2-0.
I think Helmets On are a pretty strong team. I think weren't like last week, or I know, or the last 2 weeks, you were like big Helmets On fan. Am I wrong?
Well,
He was the hater.
I never believed in the hype. No, I think it was me. No, I was not a fan of them.
Oh, okay.
I think it was more just me pushing them to. I was curious how far they could go, but I understood the hype would
I
die.
see. I see. Yeah, I think they're a pretty strong team, and I think they actually match up decently well versus Go Play Offlane. Like I think their lanes are like decent enough in the game, and I think they play well together as a team. So I think this series is gonna be kind of on Jamie, um, rather than anyone else. I think based on draft, if they can play against Helmets On correctly, then they can get the 2-0, but I think it's gonna turn out to be a 1-1.
Yeah, Jamie definitely needs to turn off the RuneScape during draft. You know,
Yeah.
none of this like instant clicking heroes and having 2 minutes and 10 seconds of reserve time. Like I think Conqueror across the board is too good to phone it in the draft phase this season.
Yeah, I would agree.
But I disagree with Core in this sense. I think the matchup to watch is mid actually. Um, for a long time, I felt like Blackup was the most underranked player in 82L, like the entire 82L when he was a Crusader. I thought it was absolutely nuts. It was just like playing against Divines like it was nothing. And I think Chev is like similarly a big impact player for Go Play Offlane. And I think if one of the two of them can set the tempo for their team, they are like really strong position ones that can benefit from that tempo, but they need somebody to set it for them.
Yeah, I think that's a cool comparison. I would go with this is Broken Pony Diff for me. I think Broken is so much better of a player than Dr. Chainstein, and no flame, Dr. Chainstein, Broken just him right now, as well as Pony. The lane they have set up, I think is going to demolish the helmets on safe lane, and the way the helmets on mid player would have to play to save that lane, may ruin his own game, and just may make Chev's game way easier as well. So that's why I have the 2-0. But I am curious, why do you think they're a good matchup? Um, like comparative to other teams that match up against Go Play Offlane Core.
I think like the supports are better on Helmets On, I think. Um And I think I don't necessarily agree with the Broken being like better than Dr. Changsting.
Really?
They're evenly matched, yeah.
This was after he dueled your troll in the pit.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, everyone have their own opinion. I'm just gonna. I was say, wait. We haven't seen Dynamite versus Go Play Offline yet, have we?
No, we have not.
Okay.
No.
Have you guys scrimmed each other?
I scrimmed, so I played against Pony and Broken in a scrim when he was on Hexy's team, the season before, and when they were in Champion.
Yeah.
So I did play against them twice. So and they were that duo. So I think I'm basing it off that. But other than that, like I think Broken's a good player, and I think he has some good map movements. But I think the laning is a little weak.
Okay.
All right, Reddit. You can go
And-
to the hot takes tab down there and
Okay.
put Core thinks Broken is dog.
No.
I would appreciate it.
I forgot about this tab, man. All right.
I will say, I have 2-0 for Go Play Offlane because that is what I think is going to happen. But I'm still rooting for Helmets On. Always rooting for Helmets On.
Who's not? Let's be honest.
I'd love to see him win. I think it'd be great. So this is match of the week. Dynamite, 7 Dark 30. Both captains here joining us on the content show today. I'll let Core start off. When you got when the schedule got dropped and you clicked on ad2l website and you saw you were playing against 7 Dark 30, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
Let me think. Well, I mean, I think I had theorized it before because I was talking to IPA before, and right after my series, and we said like, oh, we're probably gonna play each other. So, in terms of the first thing I thought, of like what to do, is that your question?
Yeah. Like what like did you think? Okay, my team has the advantage. 7 Dark 30 is a little weaker, or they're a little stronger. Or what?
So, I've played on 7 Dark 30, or the stack when they weren't fully together. So I have a huge respect for them and IPA as well. And I think that they are a team that is draft dependent. I really agree with Chef. He said this, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago. I think they're very draft dependent, and so I think if they like win the draft, they could easily 2-0 us. I think I can see that.
That's big props to IPA. Okay. And then IPA, I'll ask this the same question to you. When you drew Dynamite, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
Oh, complete and total fear. Trying to think about how am I possibly going to ban all of Core's heroes and still ban Blanca's heroes. I don't know how we can't do it. And then there's this Pudge, right? So I think when you think about their team and their first pick priority, they have a lot of tricks in the bag and a lot of heroes that if you don't ban them, like you're going to get punished by these very good players who know what they're doing. So it's like one of those teams where you know you can't ban it all, so you better have a plan if you let it through.
Yeah, and I think 7 Dark 30 is a team that thrives on being underrated, or you have to respect them. I think if you don't, it's your downfall.
Yeah, I like that.
Nobody's talked about us this season.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't call. I just want to remind you, Rhino. I saw you switch that 2-0 to a
Yeah,
1-1. Don't think
yeah,
I
I
didn't
saw
see
that
that.
too.
Hey,
I saw that
listen. I was thinking about it. I was like, damn. Like that's how I'm thinking about this match. Like I may switch my prediction again. It may be 0-2 by the end of the night. Like this may be a game time decision for my prediction. Just because like it's so close. I think these teams. I think matchup wise, I don't think there's a team. There's two teams that match up to each other as well as these two teams. I feel like IPA core. You guys talk to each other outside of this matchup. You know what I mean? So in my head, this is like, okay, who's sort of like Dota vision is better? Because I feel like IPA either has to give the pudge or has to leave a blocker hero or he has to leave a core hero. Right? That's what he's going to be thinking about tonight or in going into Thursday. Core has his own draft strategy as well. And that little game of chess, that little game of I guess major look or whatever. That's gonna be what I'm gonna be watching for, and what makes me so excited for this series. So I don't really know. I think I may see IPA play a pub, and he may play like off lane dazzle and may get cooked, and I may change that to a 2-0. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It could be anything. So I'm excited though. I'm excited. I will try to reschedule my match to watch this whole match for sure. It's just going to be, IPA since I met him. Let me just tell you a little something about yourself, IPA. Since I met you, I have always felt like you have that little chip on your shoulder when you play Dota, and your whole team has that as well. No matter if you're winning or you're losing, your whole team has that little chip on their shoulder. Like they play with a little bit of edge. And I love that. That's what drew me to your team. I think it was 2 seasons ago when you guys were playing. When you were with the core stack, it was you, Core, Cloud. I want to say Fatality. And there was a +1. AZ, yeah. I was like, damn, like this stack plays with a little bit of grit, a little bit of guts, and I liked that a lot. And I feel like in every IPA stack, you get that same grit and motivation. And that's what I'm going to be looking for as well. And if I feel like after this week, there's no one that can tell me either if it's a 2-0 from Dynamite or a 2-0 from Dark 30. One of these teams isn't the best 2 teams in the league. I think every other team is too inconsistent or has too many question marks. But when I look at 7 Dark 30 or Dynamite, their only question mark is their schedules. And that's just RNG, right? So this is the match. 7 Dark 30, we all said 7 Dark 30 schedule was easy. They went against Savage Spirits. They bodied Savage Spirits. Now, there's not much else we can say about 7 Dark 30, except if they get 0-2 this week, right? A 1-1, then we're like, okay. We can talk about it a little bit, but if they 2-0 Dynamite, that's massive. If Dynamite 2-0s, 7 Dark 30, that's massive as well. So I'm excited. So I don't really know what my predictions are going to be. I know I've just been talking for a minute, but what do you guys think about actually no longer IPA and Core Tree? Well, we'll get an outside opinion. What are your thoughts on the opinion on the game?
I think we've played Dynamite earlier this season, and I think that they have a lot of their offlaners really good personally. I think Core, as Core mentioned earlier, it just slaps. His Razor's insane, but I think that this is like a close matchup because again, as what IPA mentioned, like drafting against Dynamite, it just feels like they have so many good picks that they can just pick into anything. So it's like you don't have enough bans to ban everything. So it's definitely hard to draft against Dynamite, but also 7 Dark 30, as you said, like they have this synergy of some kind. Like when you play 7 Dark 30, you know you're playing 7 Dark 30. Like you know all the players, you know like
exactly, yeah.
like it's 7 Dark 30, right? Like it's those players are not something to just like shrug off, right? Like you actually have to respect it. So again, yeah, same in my book though. I think that this is really just a toss up whether it's a 2-0 either way, but yeah, I think it's gonna 1-1 because it's just gonna be really close and really good Dota.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, Rhino, it's easy to keep a chip on my shoulder when you're a veritable convenience store of potato chips, just like constantly talking shit about me. So
Listen,
we literally started the stream at the beginning of the season. You're like, yeah, I mean, IPA, like, he kind of has a brain, but, when he actually has to press buttons, it's pretty sad state of
I did say
affairs.
that. I did say so. Behind that take, I always felt like Dota IQ wise, I put IPA up there with Gaffrey and a couple other
Hungry
captains.
Phoenix, mine for the game, baby.
Hungry Phoenix, exactly right. Hungry Phoenix has a chip, by the way. So that's a 2-time 80-12 winner that I'm putting you in the category with. You know what I mean? All respect, Hungry Phoenix. So that's what I see. I feel like this season you had to prove to me that not only do you have that Dota mind, but you also can, move your fingers, move your thumbs and your hands and things of that nature at a fast speed. And that's what you're showing me. I mean, you beat Gav Print mid last week, right? You go to the off lane, you say fuck it, I'm gonna go against Benny, and you beat Benny in lane as well. So you're proving it to me. But that was preseason. That was preseason. So an updated version of IPA is he is someone with a high Dota IQ, and he can press his buttons now. And let's keep it going though. I'm excited to when we can play you guys, but I'm gonna let Dynamite get their shine. And hopefully we can get to play you guys next week. But yeah, that's my to explain a little bit more of the IPA flame. That the previous seasons I felt like I felt like that. But now when getting to see you play more, the amount of improvement is crazy. So I give you your props.
I mean, it's pretty simple IPA. I mean, Rhino likes when when you have a chip on your shoulder, so he just gives you one constantly.
Exactly.
He is a very generous opponent. There's no denying that.
All
What
right.
is worth, Rhino? I'm like basically a geriatric in gamer age, so I should be slow. It's supposed to happen.
No, for sure. No, for sure. So I mean that was I mean if that's true then my assumption was spot on. I feel like, but you've shown me also that the geriatrics can move along with the prodigies. I mean, Gaffran, he in my opinion I don't know how old he is, but I feel like he's young. So I feel like he's a prodigy. But yeah, I mean you showed up last week, so I'm excited for this week to see whatever lane you're in. And whoever you go gets, I would love to see you go wins Blanca. I don't know if that's gonna happen. IPA versus Blanca, that would be crazy. I'll probably lose my mind, but yeah, I'm excited either way for whatever lane you decide to match up in. But we won't kill that series because that series is gonna be talked about for probably the next like 4 days until Thursday. So we'll go to Grin Fury, Samsara. There's actually some 1-1s. Tree has 1-1. Tree. True, you think Grin Fury is bad, or you think Samsara is just?
I think it's one of those cases where if Samsara bans the right heroes and they pick the right heroes, I think they can take a game off Grin Fury. But I think that's going to be either a game 2 scenario or a oh shit, we banned the right heroes and we picked the right ones type of thing. But otherwise, I think it's definitely leading 2-0 though for Grin Fury. It's just like I think Grin Fury has like certain heroes you just have to ban, and then once you ban them, you can kind of just play around it afterwards. Pretty fine. So that's my take.
I like the take. I like that take. IPA, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna keep it simple. I told you I think skill wise, I don't think Samsara is that far behind people. But one thing I do know is if their approach to drafting against rejects is any indication of how they'll draft against Grin Fury, they got no shot.
short and simple from IPA. All right, core.
I think that I mean, I think the stack has been together for a little bit, the Samsara stack. So, but they role swap a lot. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Like
Yeah.
Nobu plays 5 as well as like 1, and I don't think it's working. Like I just don't think it doesn't feel like any of them are comfortable in the roles that they play. So I think they kind of need to solidify something.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. 2-0 Samsara, in my opinion. Tree praying for the 1-1 final Samsara. Like an actual Samsara win would be crazy. But I don't think it's this week or ever. All right, let's move on to the. I think it was the tier list, right?
Tier list, yeah.
Oh yeah, tier list.
Is that in the spreadsheet?
So I think it's rankings, weekly rankings tab.
Tier rankings. It's
Oh, here we go. Okay. I guess I'm in the Benny slot. Wow. Okay. Oh wow. These are crazy. Holy shit. Let me just digest these really quick, and then I'll start calling shit out. Okay, so unanimously we all have like go play off lane is a 1 or a 2 team. I'm trying to figure out. Core hasn't played go play off lane yet. IPA, 7Dark30. Have you guys?
Yeah, we won one of them. Right
You
before
guys won 1 them. Okay. Why 1? Why rank 1?
I think they're the best.
I'm curious. Okay. Let me put the question out a little further. You think? Okay, so 7Dark30. I'm trying to. You. Okay, so 7Dark30. You have 7Dark30 ranked above I was. IPA. Core. You have 7Dark30 ranked above I was as well. Let's see, and you have Savage Spirits 8. IPA has Savage Spirits 6. Right? I find this it's crazy. Dynamite 1-1-1 2-2. Okay, I agree with that. Go play off lane 1-1-1 3. Okay, so what do Savage Spirits, I was, and the Rejects, right, have to prove to get moved up on your rankings, core and IPA?
They gotta win games. They gotta win series.
Win series. Okay. Okay. I mean
Win
against who?
games, Kappa.
Against who? Like
So
like.
let me tell you something though. You messed it up. You called the rejects out. I have helmets on as the fifth best team, and I think if ever there was an opportunity for helmets on to prove that they're not just likable and actually one of the best teams in the league, I think it's this week against Go Playoff Lane. I think if they can do a solid 1-1, I think 2-0 Go Playoff Lane. I think we got to bring them back into the conversation.
Yeah, I would agree.
Off just a 1-1 with Go Play Offlane?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yes.
they're up there. Yeah.
I would think a 2-0. Personally, I would think a 2-0. I think 1-1 against Go Play Offlane, like that's cool. We did it. 7-Dark30 did it. I feel like, in my opinion, Go Play Offlane is the best team in the league. Then probably Dynamites. Then I would have 7-Dark30. Then us, just because off who we've played. But in no way do I think Go Play Offlane is that far. But like, how closely do you guys think the 1 through 4 are for this division?
I think 1 through 3 is pretty close in my mind. I just had to
Yeah.
pick people. So I think that like those three, Dynamite, Seventh Arc, and Offlane are like the free thinkers of the group. And I think that's what's kind of putting them ahead.
So you have helmets on higher than I was core.
Yes.
Why do you think so?
I think partially it is due to my experience playing against them and the fact that they're like if you look at like the wins, I'm pretty like straight in terms of like 1 through 10 is like how good. I think it's like week 3. It's just hard to tell who's really good. I think it's a little difficult before playoffs to tell who's like the top teams. I think that's why
So
I'm basing it a lot on wins and stuff.
you also have 7-Dark30 over Go Play Offlane.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I just put the top 3. I think they're all pretty close. Seven Dark and my team and Go Play Offlane, I would say, are the top 3. So they could be interchangeable. I could be 3 and Go Play Offlane could be 1.
okay, okay. And do we all think the Rejects are a worse team than Helmets On?
Tree doesn't.
Tree doesn't. Yeah, it looks
So-
like everyone but Tree.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's really 50-50. That's why they're both 5-6. It's I think it depends on the game, right? But overall, I think I'd agree with you guys.
Okay. Yeah, I think probably I think I can agree with IPA's list the most in my head. Uh, I do think, yeah, I can agree pretty fully on that. I don't know the 1, 2, 3. I feel like we've been hoed because even if we 2-0, I don't think we get the respect we deserve this week. Like even if we 2-0 rejects, I don't think anyone's like, okay, whoa, that's a hell of a victory. But comparison to like um, the helmets on 2-0, right? Like if helmets on 2-0 go play off lane, are we moving them into top 4 discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, they're 5.
So would where would I was go? Right? Who's moving down? You get what I'm saying?
I mean, I think the Dynamite 7-Dark30 series is probably going to could potentially show some true colors for either team, right? Like, let's say one of us just gets blasted out of the game. I think you got to start asking, like, hey, is that telling that maybe this team isn't a top team like we thought they were? Because those are the 2 top 4 teams that are playing each other. So it's like college football, right? You saw Colorado, like they got blown out, like they're not a real top 25 team, right? So I think the most interesting thing, how about the fact that everyone says Bubble Team is 7th best, the only unanimous ranking in the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. I put that because I thought it was funny to see a bunch of
I,
sevens.
I kind of did as well. I think it's between 6 and 7 though. Right
But
now.
I think your original question, Rhino, was how close are these teams? And I think Bubble Team has a unanimous rank 7. I kind of said this before. is a perfect example that I don't think the gap between 7 and 1 is that big. I think in a lot of previous seasons of AD2L, I think the 7th team, like last season Conqueror, right? I think we got in on tiebreakers. We were the 8th best team. The gap between us and like Pure Damage and Mochi and the Jamie Bozone stack, like I think was pretty huge, quite frankly. Or Rusty with 2 Immortals in an ancient league, you know.
So, wait, are you trying to say that it's a lot closer than we think?
I'm saying I think the whole league is close. Like this is one of my favorite seasons, I think, because I would not be surprised if any one of these 8 teams that make playoffs make a run to grand finals. And like right now, a bubble team is a 7th ranked team. Like I think is kind of crazy. I think these dudes could win the league. It's not even a joke.
Yeah, I think Bubble Team for me is the team that has to build the most to win. I think there's teams that are further away from winning, but have the ingredients to win. Like I think to build to a little mistakes, little question marks, fixing drafting, fixing captaining, right? Bubble Team won cool last week, but that was without Gambits. Uh, and adding Gambits, in my opinion, I feel like they are weaker just because Juke plays more Dota. He, in my opinion, he's a better support than Gambits, right? Um, so and he may add some things that Gambit may not add to the team, but Gambit may add some things that Juke doesn't add. I'd be curious to have the discussion with Tree probably off stream, but yeah, I just think that they're a better team without Gambits. So I don't know how well they'll play with Gambits. So I think they're further away. I would put Rejects, Helmets on that tier as well. Like I wouldn't be shocked if they made playoffs runs, but I feel like they have a little bit of more building to do. I'm putting us in there as well. Um, the only teams I really feel like there aren't question marks are 7 30 Dynamite. Even Go Play Offlane, in my opinion, has a few question marks. Just from what I see, I still think they're the number one seed, of course. Um, but they do have some question marks, in my opinion. But what other things do you guys see on this tier list, or things you wanted to call out?
Oh, I got a question for you right now. How do you
Go
feel
ahead.
about Chev ranking Seven Spirits above you guys?
Chev. This man is a content fiend and wants me to scream on here. I genuinely feel like he's baiting me into like screaming. I don't know what else. Yeah, I mean they did owe to us. They did owe to us in week one. So maybe he's thinking that is a massive thing and that still is in effect to today. But we had a role swap. We've had Sun off a playing on his bed and like on top of a fucking like another butter box or whatever the fuck he was on. Like, so much shit has changed, but it's cool. I understand. Those are his boys, but do I think they're a better team than us right now? As it stands right now, no. So I think it may just be a little bit of disrespect as well as those are his boys, and they did beat us 0-2 week one. So it's like a blemish on our record. So that's how I would say it.
I think this week, you know, so like Seven Dark 30 is a team that when I watch other contents, I noticed like no one was really talking about us as like a real contender. Um, and I appreciate that. Like I like hearing that. Like that does help with the chip. But I think the version of that right now is probably the rejects. I feel like we're just kind of like writing them off a little bit, right? And so I'm very curious. Like I'm really excited for the Rejects I Am I Was series this week because I want to see what they can show us against what I think is a very talented team.
Yeah, for the rejects, I think we look at the rejects and obviously we see Hexy, but Profanity had he's starting to have better weeks. Last week he got his profaned PL hero. That's still a team where you have to ban certain heroes to play the game. So I think it'll come down to that as well. But who is the rejects really? I don't really know what their schedule is. Have they played either Go Play Offlane or Dynamite or 7 Dark 30? Have they played either of you guys? Or Bubble Team
Uh,
even?
no, they played Go Play Offlane, Green Fury, and Samsara.
Yeah, that's like my one scary thing. Like the experience, even like scrimming 7R30 because we've scrimmed them the last 2 weeks. I think two BO2s or something like that. I feel like we scrimmed them and like Savage Spirits who've been scrimming the most. Um, so I generally feel like playing against these teams have made us better, and I just don't know if their schedule is going to reflect how like if they've really been in the lab like that or understanding like how competitive this the division is currently, as well as I don't know if they have the like profanities that carry to me that on paper he looks so good, but in the game something feels off. Something's a little bit off. Like maybe he's not making the right play, the right read, etc. etc. But that's how I feel about rejects. So I think if they beat us this week 2-0, they will be the storyline for next week, along with the Dynamite 7 or 30 game. Whoever wins that. But until then, I don't know if they have the respect of the league. That's how I would say it. Um, yeah, yeah, that would probably be my take on that. Uh, yeah, I guess that's about it for this weekly ranking. I guess my last question for you guys: how much do you see this changing till the end of the season? Like, will this board change heavily? Be heavily affected by the course of the season, or will we see these same rankings? 1 through 4 the same, 4 through 8 the same, the 1 through 3 staying the same. What do you guys think there?
Well, I think like IP said, like I think it's definitely possible we see large changes in these last few weeks, but I think as we get closer to playoffs, I mean, it's going to be clearer and clearer. I mean, like next week, if like I2O or IPA 2O is like, we're already guaranteed playoffs. So from that stance, I think we need to be thinking about it in terms of like playoffs, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, yeah, those would be my only questions. Did you guys have any last comments?
Well, let me ask you. I'll ask you this question, Tree. When you do
Right.
your rankings in this, do you rank them based on like sports power rankings? Like this is reflective of how good they are based on their most recent performance, or do you rank them based on how skilled you think the individual team is?
I think I'm looking at more of just skill of the individual team, less of the like. I think my numbers don't exactly align with how it would be if it was just completely ranked by wins and such. But I think just from synergies and from what I've seen these players play, and some of the teams that we haven't even played, we've scrimmed a fair amount, so it's kind of just a little bit of a mix of all that. So that's why my takes are a little bit different than you guys, I think.
Yeah,
So
I
I
think
think
the only thing that throws me off is the 6 or the 5 for the rejects. Like,
We've scrimmed them a lot, and that's the one that's kind of like we've scrimmed them a lot, and I think that they really have some potential, pull something out of the bag. And as I think you mentioned, that they're kind of going under the radar a bit right now. They're kind of being shrugged off a little, but I think they do have potential. Like if they figure out their stuff, I think they're definitely a play at like rank 5.
okay, okay.
But I think to answer your question right now, I think how you're treating the rankings is super important to how they're going to change over the course of the season.
Mhm.
For example, I think Go Play Offline could 1-1 the rest of the season and be like very middling in terms of the seeding for playoffs, but I would still rank them highly because I think that they're a very talented team with really good players. Um, and so, because this isn't like a traditional power ranking stuff, I think the list might not change as much as it could, because I think there are going to be some pretty significant results that happen even in 2 weeks. Like, let's say we go 0-4 over the next 2 weeks. Like, you got to start asking some questions like, yo, these guys are frauds. Like, get them out of here. Maybe Bubble Team is 4-0, right? And we completely swapped from the top and bottom of that playoff list. But I just think the skill gap this season is so tight that the list could swap a lot just based on a couple weeks.
Yeah, that was sort of my point of the question. I think Also, I think that our perception of strength may be different, or what we perceive as a strong Dota team may be a little bit different and may change over the course of the season. So that'll be something to watch out for as well. But this has been an hour and 40-minute content. I'm not going to hold you guys on this beautiful Sunday night. And, guys got to get work tomorrow. So, yeah, any closing thoughts?
No, thank you for hosting, Ryan. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, guys. Thank you guys for joining.
I have a fun fact real quick.
All right.
Muerta on week 2 in Conquer went 3-0, but this past week she went 0-3. Fun fact.
I actually noticed that as well. Yeah.
That is a fire stat.
So,
We're adapting.
Muerta stocks down.
All right, guys. Course picking Muerta this week. I got it on my draft sheet.
Yep.
It's gonna be 3-0 this week, guys. Just be ready.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining. For Core IPA Tree, I am Rhino. I appreciate all the viewers as well. Good fucking luck Thursday, and see you guys next Sunday for the next content. Probably not on this channel. Who knows? But yeah, I'm ended up here.